Ladies and gents, thank you for joining me for another video on this channel. So today I have a different one for you. I'm not gonna do a reaction, but I have an interesting video for you. And I want to present some of my favorite power metal screams in metal music. Now, these screams have different names, so you can call them heavy metal falsetto screams, soaring vocals, or simply high-pitched shrieks. However, I found a really nice description of these screams, and that is the power screams. So since it is power metal, let's call it the power screams in this video. So power metal is a genre which is sometimes mistaken for being super cheesy and only about dragons and swords and warriors. Power metal, just to be clear, is not only Dragon Force, Rhapsody of Fire, or Blind Guardian. There are many more bands with different themes and not just tackling dragons, real life issues, serious issues, history, wars, social topics. So it's a very interesting genre. And of course there are cheesy bands, a lot of cheesy bands that I cannot listen to, even though this is my favorite genre. Just like in any other genre, just like in heavy metal, in black metal, in death metal, in pop, in commercial, in rap, in hip hop, you name it. In all genres you have artists that are copying others that are not so good, that have bad production, bad voices, bad music. So it's normal, it's not just in power metal. But I feel like the power metal genre really gets underestimated and just, labeled as, okay, you have these 2-3 bands and that's it. So today I want to show you that there is more to this genre, and I want to focus on these power shrieks or power scream. And by the way, if you're interested to know more about power metal, then check the video, my top 10 favorite power metal albums, linked below the description, and also it will be linked at the end of this video. So again, power metal is not only Dragon Force, Rhapsody, or Blind Guardian. Of course, you might know, if you're a little bit into the genre or into metal music, you might know some of the more famous bands as well, like Camelot, Halloween, Stratovarius, and so forth, which I love, Sonata Arctica as well, all those other bands which I love, and some of them will be featured in this video, so stay tuned. As I said, I really like power metal, is one of my favorite genres, and more specifically, I really enjoy the progressive power metal subgenre. So that's power metal, but with more time changes, tempo changes, longer tracks, more dynamics, and it's not like double bass all the way through and just, the same pattern. So it's more interesting. So I really like power metal, and I also really like progressive power metal. So progressive power metal, you have bands like Circus Maximus, Pagan's Mind, Seventh Wonder, Symphony X even. I know they're more on the progressive side, even Circus Maximus, but they can fall under this, progressive power metal genre. And you have many other great bands which I haven't named. Power metal, I really like it because it really gives me happiness, induces dopamine in me, and especially those high-pitched screams. Of course, there are more aspects to this music which I really like the solos, shred guitar solos, the harmonies, the neoclassical influences in some areas, and other influences for other bands, different topics they tackle, at many times the really interesting lyrics. Sometimes the lyrics are not so interesting, especially if it's not a US or English band, so sometimes the English is not that perfect, but you can get the point from the feeling they put in the music. And those power screams really give me that dopamine hit. Whenever I'm cranking music, whenever I'm listening to different genres, I find myself coming back to power metal and progressive power metal and those power metal screams, power shrieks. Today I'm gonna list some of the most notable power shrieks, some of my most favorite power screams. Now, this is not a comprehensive list of all the greatest power screams. These are the ones which I find myself returning to most often, and the ones which I remembered for this video. Of course, there are some which I didn't include, which maybe should be included, and which I really like, but I just, couldn't remember them because there are so many great ones. So let me know in the comments below which are your favorite power scream. And one more thing, the list is not in any specific order, although I kept my most favorite ones, my ultimate favorite ones, until the end of the video, so stay tuned until the end. And before we start, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button because it really helps the channel. I would really appreciate it. And leave a comment of, again, what artists you like from power metal, from other genres, what are your favorite power screams. And with that said, let's dive into the best power screams. Okay, so I tried to find the official audios on YouTube of those songs. However, for some I couldn't find, so I just used whatever's there. But I tried to, give the bands, the views and the likes and everything as they deserve it. And I'll just play that, section where there's the power scream, so I will not be playing the whole track. All right, so let's dive into it. So the first one on the list is a power metal band from Finland. It's called Arion, and they had a different singer in their debut album, which is my favorite album so far, their first album. And the track is called Shadows. There is no applause while this curtain falls. Okay. Next on the list, we have Brazilian power metal band Aquaria. This song is called Choice Time and is taken from their debut album Lux Eterna. Okay. Next, we have a UK power metal band Powercrest, and the track is called Temple of Fire. It's taken from the album Neverworld. I believe their singer, I'm not sure if he's Italian. He had an Italian name. Maybe he's Italian born in the UK. But anyway, let's listen. Okay, next we have the famous Swedish power metal band Hammerfall, and this is the title track from the Crimson Thunder album. All right, next we have, well, this is a project, mixed project. It's called Alan Land. So it's Russell Allen from Symphony X, the singer of Symphony X, and Jorn Land. He was in many bands like Ark and Masterplan, and then he had his solo career in Jorn. And then on this, so before they teamed up with Swedish guitarist and composer Magnus Carlsen, but on this album it's Timo Tolkki from Stratovarius who's playing, and this is my favorite track on that album, and it's called Down from the Mountain. Let's listen to Russell Allen here singing the chorus. So it's not a scream, it's more of singing the whole chorus, but it's super difficult. And what I didn't mention is that it's not only about being difficult, it's beautiful to me. Like, it's really nice, impactful, gives me that dopamine rush. So let's listen to it. Down from the mountain, up near the top, over again, come to descend. Down from the mountain, up near the top, to see if you will still pretend. Down from the mountain. All right. Next is French power metal band Heavenly, and this is taken from their Virus, my favorite Heavenly album, and this is the opener track, The Dark Memories. Okay, next is a Danish, it's like a prog power metal band, so leaning more on progressive metal, but they have those power metal elements, so I included it here. DC Cooper is the singer in this track on this album, Moving Target, and this is my favorite album by this band. And DC Cooper did sing in many bands, in Silent Force, German power metal band. Also, he had his solo career. So let's listen to the ending of Far Away from Moving Target. Far, far away, you are so far away, you are so far away, you are so far away. And and that gives me the chills every time I listen to it. Okay, next is US power metal band Theocracy. I think they can be labeled as a Christian power metal band or Christian metal band because they have themes about Christianity and God and stuff. And this song nailed, I believe it's about Jesus being nailed to the cross, if I'm not mistaken. So let's listen to this great vocal section in this song. It's taken from their album As the World Bleeds. I believe that was their third album. Great song. I highly recommend you listen to all of it. Beautiful song. Okay, next is a project. Let's call it a German metal, power metal project, but with a British singer who was, I believe he's still fronting this project. It's called Voodoo Circle, and David Redman is the vocalist, and the project is by Alex Bayroth, the German guitarist who played with Primal Fear, and he was the founder of the aforementioned Silent Force, the power metal band where DC Cooper was singing. So this song, Spewing Lies, is taken from their debut album, and that's the opener track. Let's listen to this great vocal section from that track. Okay, next is German progressive metal band, but they also have some power metal elements, so I included them here. And this band is called Vandenplast. This is taken, I believe, from their album called Christ O. And this is, I think it's a remake of a famous track from the 70s from Jesus Christ Superstar. And it's called Gets Main, and there's a great vocal part here. Let's listen to it. Also, great track, great album. Highly recommend you listen to all the thing. Okay, next is none other than Ed Guy and Tobias Sammet, taken from their very famous, maybe their most famous album, Hellfire Club, which features some of their most famous tracks. And this is the opener, Mysteria, one of their most famous tracks. And that's at the beginning of the track, you have this brutal high scream, power scream by Tobias Sammet. Let's listen to it. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, next we have Circus Maximus, a Norwegian prog metal band leaning more on progressive metal, but I think they're progressive power metal. They have power metal elements. Later on, they moved more to a progressive metal or progressive rock style, which I didn't like that much as their first 2-3 albums. But this is taken from my favorite Circus Maximus album, Isolate. And this is the longest track on the album, 12-minute 42-second track, Mouth of Madness. And I love this scream when the song really kicks off and the double bass drum kick in. Let's listen to it. Oh man, this track, I've listened to it millions of times, never get bored of it. Such an interesting one. Okay, next we have German power metal band Metallium with Henning Bass fronting the band. I think this band disbanded already, but this is taken from their second album, State of Triumph, and the title track is Eye of the Storm. Let's listen to this great vocal part by Henning. Okay, been a while since I listened to them. It's good that I remembered this track. Okay, next we have US heavy metal or prog heavy metal or even power metal band called Savatage. They're not pure power metal, but this album and this song specifically is really power metal. It fits in that criteria. Fantasy lyrics, high-pitched screams, the guitar solos, the drums, everything. It's really close to a power metal track, so I included it. Let's listen to John Oliver's epic scream on this title track. Okay. Next, we have German power metal band Primal Fear with the great Ralph Scheepers on vocals, who auditioned for Judas Priest in the past. And this is taken from their debut album. And the track title is Running in the Dust. This is how the track ends, with a brutal power scream by Ralph Scheepers. Running in the dust! Oh yeah, what a perfect ending to a great track. Okay, next is US heavy metal, power metal, prog power metal, whatever you want to call them, Crimson Glory with their epic album Transcendence, and the track is Red Sharks. Let's listen to Midnight's epic vocals in this track. Red Sharks! Unbelievable range by Midnight. Okay, next we have Brazilian prog power metal band Angra, taken from the epic Temple of Shadows, my favorite Angra album, and this is the Shadow Hunter. The ending is a brutally high power scream by Edu Falaschi, the previous singer of Angra. Let's listen to this epic vocal part. I guess one of my favorite albums ever, one of my favorite singers ever. Recommend to listen to it. Next we have the power metal legends, maybe the most famous power metal band out there, or one of the most, Halloween. And I did not pick something from the Keeper of the Seven Keys or something which is very famous. I picked a track from the Pink Bubbles Go Ape, which is not liked by a lot of people. And I understand it's not the Keepers, but this track, The Chance, is one of the most epic Halloween tracks, and I wish they played it more often. Even Masterplan covered it. So let's listen to this epic scream by Michael Kiske after the guitar solo. I love how they raised that second part of the chorus to a higher octave, to a higher note. Yeah, that was an epic scream, and I bet many people don't know this track. All right, next is Judas Priest, the heavy metal legends. They're not power metal, but come on, The Painkiller is a speed, heavy power metal album. It has all the power metal elements. The album cover, the fantasy lyrics, the doom style lyrics, the high screams, and Rob Halford is one of the main singers that had an impact on most power metal singers and heavy metal singers. So it's just fair to include something which, has supported the power metal genre so much, and that's the Painkiller album and Judas Priest in general. Let's listen to track number 2, a great vocal part by Rob Halford from Hell Patrol. Okay, yeah, epic album, one of the best metal albums ever made, one of the best singers, best bands. Next is Finnish power metal band Sonata Arctica, taken from their debut Ecliptica, which is often compared to Stratovarius, but I think it's unique in its own way. It's not a copy and has great tracks, some of the best. I think it's like my second favorite Sonata Arctic album after Silence, or third after Silence and Winterheart's Guild. And this is maybe my favorite track on the album, the epic of the album, 7 minutes and a half. Destruction Preventer. Listen to this epic scream by Tony Kakko. We'll make the same mistakes again. That was super high. Okay, next we have another Finnish power metal band, the legends Stratovarius, taken from their legendary Visions album, released in 1997, their most famous album, I would say. And this is the title track, the longest track on the album, the epic 10 minutes and 15 seconds. And listen to this epic, dopamine-inducing, giving the chills scream by Timo Kotipelto. That's the price we paid for our selfishness. We are heading one of the best screams ever for me. Great solo. I really didn't want to stop the track, but I have to. Okay, now we come to the top 3. Let's call it the top 3. Again, this is not in specific order, but I kept the best to the last. So those last songs are like my favorites, I would say, not in a specific order. So the top 3, the third, it goes to none other than the epic band from Sweden, Lost Horizon. this is the opener from their debut album Awakening the World, and it's called Heart of Storm. Listen to that ending scream by Daniel Heyman. Just words can't describe it. Into it. I mean, you can just pick any track for Lost Horizon and you have brutal screams, but this one is my favorite. Just gives me so much power, so much hope, so much positivity, so much strength on bad days that I really love this. Okay, at number 2 comes Italian power metal band Vision Divine, a track taken from their most famous album, Stream of Consciousness, and the track is called La Vita Fugge. Let's listen to that ending. Great scream by Michele Lupi. So let's listen to it. Time is running too fast for me. You can't stop it, 'cause never surround us deep when I'm dead. Time is moving along too fast. I can't think straight, won't take all the time that I need. I'll always be La vita fugge. What a can't imagine a better ending for a song. Really, that was epic, hard. Even when I'm just imitating that I'm singing it, it's hard just to stay that long opening your mouth. Anyway, I'm coming to my favorite power scream. If I had to pick one, maybe it would be this one. And it's from a band that's not really famous, but I like this band. Their first album is really great. I think they disbanded, but their first album, Delirium Veil, is really epic. And I suggest you listen to all of it. And this is my favorite track on the album, Return to Innocence. The ending is just, I forgot what's the name of the singer, but they're from Finland, and the ending's scream is just epic. Just, I've listened to it hundreds of times and I just can't get enough of it. Let's listen to the ending scream of Return to Innocence. Perfect ending to a track. Really, that could be so far my favorite power scream. I don't know, I just can't get enough of it. With that, I conclude my favorite power metal screams or power shrieks. And I hope you're not fed up from me imitating those screams and opening my mouth so wide, but really that's the emotion I feel when I listen to them always. Even if I've listened to these songs and screams for like hundreds of times, still get that dopamine rush, that happiness, that positivity. And it's part of why I like this genre. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know again in the comments, what are your favorite power screams or metal screams from power metal or from any other genre? any other metal or any other genre in general. I would be happy to expand my horizons or maybe be reminded of some which I might have missed. Again, this is not a comprehensive list of all the best screams which I think are out there. It's just the ones which I really return to often and I have on top of my mind. And these are like most of my favorite, but there are many more which I like. So let me know which are yours. And hit the like and subscribe button again to support the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.